Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Board of Commissioners meeting. We will begin, as is customary, with the observance of a moment of silence. Thank you. Please rise for a pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this is the time for public comment, if there is any like to be had. Okay, then we'll move on to the agenda to approve the minutes of our March 21st meeting and our workshops of March 20th and April 3rd.
And I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved. And Treasurer Nguyen is here for her report. Morning.
We had receipts on April the 2nd and April the 3rd at $1,022,564.15. Brought us to a total cash of $4,090,646.36. We had expenditures this week of $1,471,263.59. Excuse me, the tax claim is $77,970.92. That leaves a balance of $2,541,411.85.
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report subject to audit.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion regarding the motion? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved. Anything else? Thank you, Sal. In the absence of our HR folks, gonna handle
Yep.
that phone. Yep.
Dawn Felicio, Deputy Director. Deputy Chief Clerk, filling in for Michelle, HR Director. Under resignations and terminations, I have Donald B. Perkins, Sergeant at the Correctional Facility, deceased as of March 22nd, 2024. Rachel Rossi, full-time correctional officer at the correctional facility with termination of March 27th, 2024. Avalise Torres, full-time correctional officer at the correctional facility, resignation as of March 21st, 2024. Andrew Bickle, full-time telecommunicator, Department of Emergency Services, resignation last working day of March 19th, 2024. And Gabriel Liedrich, Adult Probation Officer at Probation Services, resignation April 12th, 2024.
Motion to approve those resignations and terminations.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? I'd just like to point out that condolences to the Perkins family, but also thanks to the family for supporting our county and service for over 24 years. Excuse me, 34 years to service to the jail. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Under the leaves of absences, Hillary Escobar, Clerk of Courts, 1 month, effective April 23rd, an expected return date of May 21st, 2024. And Amy Leitner, Area Agency on Aging, 2 weeks, leave of absence, effective April 8th, return date of expected of April 23rd, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve the leaves of absence as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. So ordered.
Under changes of status, transfers, and promotions, I have Caitlin Walborn from Caseworker 1. That's a promotion. Caseworker 1 to Caseworker 2 and Children at a rate of $1,661.28 biweekly, effective April 14th. Nakia Griffin McKinney, promotion from Caseworker 1 to Caseworker 2 and Children and Youth at a rate of $1,661.28 biweekly, effective April 14th. Sergio Bruno Jr., promotion from Caseworker 1 to Caseworker 2 and Children and Youth at a rate of $1,661.28 biweekly, effective April 14th. Heather May, change of status from casual call direct support aide to full-time direct support aide at the Renova Center, no change in pay, effective April 15th. Amber Ritter, promotion from full-time team leader to full-time direct support supervisor at Renova Center at the rate of $22.24 an hour, effective April 15th.
Motion to approve those changes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Under other transactions, under the district attorney's office, we have William Walton, detective, at the rate of $3,185.94 biweekly, effective April 29th. And the correctional facility would like to hire the following 5 full-time correctional officers at the rate of $22.71 biweekly, or 71 cents an hour, effective April 8th. And they are Christopher Watson, Christopher Romanell, and Bethany Yeagley, Jennifer Hall, and Cordell Robinson. And the Renova Center would like to hire Kristen Swigert as a casual call direct support aide at the rate of $16.21 an hour, effective April 8th.
I'll make a motion to approve those other transactions as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those transactions. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
If there's no other questions regarding the transactions presented, is there a motion to adopt those transactions onto the salary board?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those to salary board. Any questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Thank you. We'll move on to the next item of the agenda. Our esteemed president judge is among us. Good to have you here, and good to have you as director. Just for the sake of those who may not know you, if you introduce yourselves.
Absolutely. Very fortunate. Director of Lebanon County Probation Services.
I'm Judge Tillwalk. I'm the president judge of Lebanon County.
Thank you for having us. We are here this morning because we'd like to present a request to make application with Susquehanna Service Dogs for a court facility dog to serve the courts of Lebanon County. This is not a new concept, and there are several neighboring counties that also have court facilities services for participants in our court. I'm sorry, my voice is not cooperating this morning. We have identified individual primary handlers in the office and an individual that would be the main houser of the dog. And initially, we would like to start services with our treatment courts. And both of the handlers that we've identified are officers in the treatment courts. We don't want to limit it to those services. We understand that it's also important to have the dog available for individuals who may be nervous about meeting with their officers in the office, as well as in the courtroom setting.
I'm here, frankly, to admit, first of all, this is not a new concept that we have discussed in-house. And I think the last time we talked about it was maybe 3-4 years ago. And I have to acknowledge that I wasn't a big advocate of it at the time. You know, it's like, I think we ought to have this dog running around the courthouse. What's going to happen? Well, my mind has been changed, frankly, with regard to that, particularly in light of a presentation that I attended last October at the Treatment Court Professionals Conference in State College. There was a presentation with regard to facility dogs. A number of dogs were there, and frankly, throughout the discussion, significant, I think, anecdotal stories about the benefits of a facility dog, and frankly, not limited just to the treatment court setup, but actual use with regard to a lot of kids in dependency court and in custody cases and things of that sort. So we're talking about getting a facility dog that initially we would start with our specialty court folks, but I would hope that we would expand it, probably not with much delay into those other areas, because I'm convinced, at least based on what I was exposed to, that it can be a positive thing, a calming kind of thing for kids in particular, I think, in various stressful situations. I think it's important to emphasize here that this isn't like a request for final approval from you or anything of that sort. It's really just to get the approval for us to move forward, to make the application, to get us on a list. It could take us as long as 2 years to actually get a dog, and there would be lots of issues that would have to be worked out between now and then. Those issues have been addressed in other counties. I think we don't want to reinvent the wheel here. We have access to that information, and I'm sure we'll have several discussions over the course of time before we would actually be able to actually get the dog. But we wanted to get on the list, if you will, and we wanted your support to get us on that list, to at least investigate this. I think it's important to note as well that this would be something that would occur without cost to the county. There's been different funding that's been used to not only fund the purchase of the dog, but also the ongoing care of the dog. The AOPC has grants available, and in a couple of counties, the AOPC provided all of the startup funding, if you will, for the purchase of the dog, the paying for the initial training, all of that kind of stuff. Other counties, probation services being the point of contact, has paid for that out of supervision fee funds, because it is a recognized enhancement of probation services. So from a financial standpoint, I don't think the county per se would be looking at having to fund any aspect of this project. But again, we're here to ask for your approval to move forward, not final approval, but to move forward with the application.
Part of the application requires just a letter confirming that we would be permitted to have the dog on site, and that's, I would like to, I will write that if you give me permission to. I don't need it to be written by you, but if we have your approval, then I will have that with the application as well.
Okay, is there a motion to,
I'll make a motion to approve the authorization of drafting a letter for approval and proceeding with the application.
wait a second?
I'll second the motion, but I do have two
Sure,
questions.
but now it's time for that.
Did you define your definition of expand? Are you talking about adding dogs?
Oh, no, just adding the types of court appearances that the dog would be available for. So not adding additional
Okay.
dogs.
I
No.
wasn't 100% sure, and I thought I need to hear it from you. And the other one is, had Jamie researched any liability concerns? CCAP is our carrier. Do you know if there was anything, red flags? Anybody?
Well, actually, one of the things that was discussed at this conference last October were the liability and insurance issues. There have been different approaches by different counties. That's something that would have to be worked out. Obviously, I think, Matt, you'd be part of that discussion, I'm sure. But it is something that would be one of those details that has to be worked out. I know that in at least one of the counties, but perhaps two of the counties, the dog is actually considered to be an employee of the county and is covered seriously, and is covered by liability insurance as an employee of the county. So there are different approaches. We will gather all of that information as we move forward on this. So whatever options are available, I'm sure we'll be able to present them to you to have that kind of discussion and decide which way is the best way to go if we ultimately decide to do this. As I said, my mind has been changed about it.
Okay.
So I'm in favor of this
All right.
enthusiastically.
I did provide you with two policies in the packet. I believe Lancaster, I can't remember if York mentions it, but I know Lancaster does mention the liability insurance, and I don't believe there was any additional cost for them.
And I would just say Hamlet's a great dog. Hamlet from Lancaster County was at the conference. And he's a great dog. They have this whole fundraising aspect of things. They sell Hamlet t-shirts and little Hamlet stuffed animals and stuff like that for fundraising purposes.
What is the life expectancy of the dog?
Here we get a marketing license for when the time comes. Okay. Do you have any questions? My only question is, in the absence of grant support. Is the supervision fund healthy enough to absorb going forward?
I believe it is. The initial main expense would be the purchase price of the dog, which I think was quoted to us about $5,000, give or take. And beyond that, then it would just be maintenance of the dog, you know, food, veterinary care, those kinds of things. Chewy toys, whatever.
What is the life expectancy of the dog?
You know, there was a brief discussion about that at that conference. I think Hamlet might have been involved for maybe 5 or 6 years. I know that one of the counties that was there, and which one escapes me at this point, they had just transitioned. Their first dog had retired, and they had purchased a second dog, and they had it. But I don't know how many years that first dog was.
Okay, so they might retire before they
died.
expire?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Like us, Joe.
Hopefully.
I'm just asking because I don't know how it works with and you said you had experience in the classes, so that's something we haven't heard about yet at
I think
CCAP.
we'll learn more about that when we participate in the training process.
Okay,
But the other, you know, it also is dependent on the dog's health as well. That's taken into consideration.
sure. Okay.
What do you think? Yes, James?
Says 12 to 24 month waiting period. After you enlist, why is the waiting period so long if there's this dog is going to provide a great service to the court system in Lebanon County? Why, and it's for everyone, but why is the wait so long?
Well, before the dog would be available to us, it has to go through an intensive training process. And I think the bulk of the time is spent actually in training.
Isn't there a match issue too?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if
But we're
that-
talking about the period of time to train the dog, determining that the dog is appropriate, first of all, and then the training.
Judge, have you been told how long that training period will last? Is that talked about at the conference?
Well, that's part of what comes into play here with regard to that 12 to 24 month period. We would make application, and then they would acquire a dog. Susquehanna would acquire a dog, and they would begin the training process. And depending on how the dog does in training, determines whether we're talking 12 months up to 24 months. We were told that the maximum period of time, once we might be approved to get a dog, would be the 2 years.
And then does the dog reside here overnight? Does it go home with a handler or
The
handlers?
dog goes home with the handler.
Yeah.
The handler.
And we have people lining up to be handlers.
Get chosen.
Yeah, well, we've already made that selection in-house
Okay.
about who the handler and co-handler would be. So I think everybody's on board with that right now. But again, this is all preliminary stuff for.
Okay, and here's a question.
So our treatment courts in Lebanon County currently are Veterans Court and Drug Court,
And DUI court.
DUI. So it's 3 or 2?
Three.
3, okay, drug, DUI, veterans.
Yes,
So these are adult defendants.
yes.
Take me through how the dog interacts or is utilized with I can understand with children, but what do you do with, what do they sit with them or what do they do?
Yeah, I don't think it's really much different than it would be with regard to the children. The dog is there, the dog is there greeting the guys, they're petting the dog, spending time with the dog. I think it's that kind of interaction. And again, not unlike what we would see, I think, if children were interacting with the dog.
Licks and kisses.
Well, yeah, it's really kind of a calming kind of.
Is there a specific breed you're looking?
I think there are 2 or 3 different breeds that they look at, and I'm not sure what they are, but I know that the dogs that we were exposed to at the conference, there were multiple breeds.
It's usually like a breed that is more calm and mellow. Labradors are.
Yes.
That's what I've always seen them with.
For Audrey, you mentioned, I think you said some surrounding towns. We talked about Lancaster.
Lancaster.
Anyone else like,
York County has 2 dogs usually.
okay.
They have Buster and Fahrenheit
Mhm.
for their dog.
So did you pick a name for this one?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Okay. If nothing else, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying
Aye.
aye. Those same sign, so moved. All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, back to me. All right, you're filling in for Jamie now. First off, I have a hotel application for the Hinkle Fest. They are looking to hold a annual 3-day celebration that starts in September 13th at Sharpsburg Fireman's Park. They do this every year. They say they draw large crowds of people from all over. And volunteers come in from North Carolina, patrons come as far as Florida and California. They have a total project cost of $44,266.43, and they are asking for the max amount of $5,000.
Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those same signs, so moved.
Okay, next I have 3 disabled veterans. I have Carol O'Brien from Parkview Drive in Myerstown, Gary Boos, Swatara Creek Drive in Jonestown, and Michael Herman from Mount Wilson Road in Lebanon.
I'll make a motion to approve the 3 disabled veterans for real estate tax exemption.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any questions? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those same signs, so moved.
Okay, next I have a letter of support for the Palmyra Public Library for a project called Expanding for Tomorrow. They're looking to submit an application to the Department of Community and Economic Development for an expansion project at the library. What they're looking for is to have additional space to serve the community, like a large meeting space that would hold for a stretching and strengthening class for seniors, a weekly Little Explorers learning class. They're going to also have some small meeting rooms and conference rooms for stuff such as telehealth appointments, remote job interviews, remote learning presentations, so that people that don't have access to internet can come to use their facility and use their internet for those kind of things. And these services would be used during all their operating hours, but they're also having evenings and also Saturday hours as well.
And
So
all
they
those
just-
points are in the letter that we're.
Yep, and they would be in the letter. And so they were just looking for a letter of support. They have to have this filed by, I think, the 20th of April.
Motion.
I'll make a motion to authorize that letter of support.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we provide this letter for the Palmyra Public Library. Any questions regarding the motion? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those same signs, so moved.
Okay, and the last thing I have 4 appointments for the Women's Commission. They are looking to add to their roster of people, Amber Hopengardner, Tiffany Painter, Maggie Croggan, and Taylor Norwood. They would be a 3-year term and they will expire in April 2027.
I'll make a motion to approve these 4 ladies to the Commission for Women.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those same signs, so moved. Anything else from the floor? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
So easy.
No.
What's that? Oh, my.
Bristol.
It's the only reason you agreed for me to do it.
We should have been.